to everyone. We're glad to have you with us today. We are a community of New Thought believers, and we are going to celebrate together our love for life and each other and all around the world. Welcome. Welcome. All right, let's start with our affirmations. We lovingly and gratefully acknowledge the presence of the divine in our midst. Our purpose statement is here too. Our purpose as Unity on the Eastern Shore is to foster a new level of spiritual awareness through worship and fellowship, and to lift one another to a Christ-like maturity. And we'll have a song, There's Only One Love, by Dennis Brown.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when I feel I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love.
The spiritual power that we celebrate this month is the power of will. This is kind of an unusual one in that it's the only one that Charles Fillmore gave a metallic reference to. So Since he was a wordsmith, I looked up metal and got this. Not only is silver a precious metal, but metal, M-E-T-T-L-E, is the ability to cope well with difficulties and to approach a challenge in a spirited and resilient way. We are celebrating our silverness this month in our power of will. We like to repeat these affirmations, remind us on a weekly basis of what it's all about. So if you'd like to repeat these out loud, that's just fine. Together, there is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe. God, the good, omnipotent. Together, we know God blesses all special intentions in our prayer box and that God's perfect plan is in action. And together, we are alive, alert, awake, joyous, and enthusiastic about life. The daily word for today is radiance. The Christ presence within me and my radiant is my radiant source of good. On a clear day, when a stray cloud passes across the sun, I notice the suddenly diminishing light. Then, looking up, I see brilliant rays of sunshine surrounding the cloud. Instead of hiding the sun, the cloud helps me see and appreciate the sun's radiance. As the sun lights the earth and is the source of its energy, the Christ, divine presence within me, is my light and the source of everything I need in order to live brilliantly and joyfully. When, like a passing cloud, an obstacle or a challenge comes along my path, may seem to dim my Christ light, I respond by looking up, by raising my point of view. I'm reassured and strengthened, knowing that the divine radiance is shining as brightly as ever. No cloud can dim the divine light in me. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. John 1:5. I choose love.
Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what I'm made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one tie that binds us, that can't be undone. I choose love. Peace in my family is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I must be the one. I choose love. I choose love. I choose
Choose love. Our speaker today is Reverend Ann Murphy, Unity's own minister. Thank you, Ann. And of course, we're going to hear about the love, the built-in God gauge. And I expect we can guess just what that is.
Thank you, Doreen. Thank you so much. And good morning, everybody. Good morning. And let's begin with prayer. And let's just lower our eyes, just gently close our outer eyes and open our inner eyes. And this is from Neil, from the Prayers of the Cosmos, the translation of the words of Jesus into the spoken words of Jesus, which is the Aramaic. And this is one translation of the Lord's Prayer. O birther, father, mother of the cosmos, focus your light within us, make it useful. Create your reign of unity now. Through our fiery hearts and willing hands, help us love beyond our ideals and sprout acts of compassion for all creatures. Animate the earth within us. We then feel the wisdom underneath supporting all. Untangle the knots within so that we can mend our heart's simple ties to each other. Don't let surface things delude us. Free us from what holds us back from our true purpose. Out of you, the astonishing fire, returning light and sound to the cosmos. Amen. Good morning again.
Good morning.
And thank you for being with us, those here present. Thank you. We have a new visitor, Luke. Thank you for being with us. And of course, thank you for all of us who are joining via, it's still to me a miracle how this can really happen, how we can be here and there, you know. It was science fiction of my childhood, you know, but it's good. It's all good. So today our topic is love, our built-in God gauge. And we kind of use love kind of casually. And I think the most common, you know, idea of love is we have to find love. So I heard a story about a young man and he was looking for his soulmate. And he calls up his mom one day and he says, I met the most wonderful girl and I think that she can be the love of my life. She's beautiful and she's funny and I just love being with her. So he says, Mom, what can I do to really, you know, impress her? And the mom thinks, well, she says, well, I think you should send her a bouquet of flowers and then include a little note with the bouquet and invite her to come over for a home-cooked meal. And so the young man goes to the flower shop and orders the most beautiful bouquet that he can find. And he writes a little note, come over for dinner Friday night at 6:30. So anxiously, the mother the next day calls her son and asks, well, how did it go? How did it go? How was your date? He says, it was pretty much a disaster. It was really, really bad. And the mom says, well, did you send the flowers? Oh, yeah, she really loved the flowers. Well, what really went wrong? He says, she absolutely refused to cook. So sometimes we give to get, don't we? Sometimes we give to get. So what does love mean to you? We use it often in such a really casual way. And love, really, it's the topic of literature, prose, poetry, plays, nonfiction. It's in art, it's in the movies, it's in the theater, it's in the opera, it's even in psychology, and of course, it's all over spirituality. And they say that 65% of the songs have the word love in the title. And let's think of some of the songs that I came up with. Well, there's big love, and there's higher love, and there's endless love, and there's puppy love, and there's baby love, and there's crazy little thing called love, and there's jungle love, and there's groovy love. And then we have the question, where is love? And we get the answer, love is everywhere. Love is in the air. And then we have, what is love? And we even get the answer in the song. It's 5 foot of heaven in a ponytail. So what is love? Who, and we also have, who do you love? And country western songs are really good at this. They say, I love my truck. I love my dog. And then we have those stinky little victim songs. Love stinks. Love hurts. Bye bye, love. Why do fools fall in love? And then we have our empower songs, our new thought songs, our unity songs. And they go like, one of my favorite, love is my decision. The one we heard this morning, I choose love. You are love. Love is everywhere. Sacred love. There is only love. Love is growing love. Growing love. And so in Unity, we have our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, that gave us a lot of really wonderful metaphysical definitions for love. And he writes, love is the pure essence of being that binds us together, the whole human family. And of all the attributes of God, love is undoubtedly the most beautiful. In divine love, in divine mind, love is the power that joins and binds in human harmony, the universe and everything in it. It is the great harmonizing principle known to man. Divine love is impersonal. It loves for the sake of loving. It is not concerned with what or who it loves, nor with a return of love. And like the sun, its joy is in the shining forth of its nature. Love is an inner quality, and that sees good everywhere and in everyone. It insists that all is good, and by refusing to see anything but good, it causes that quality finally to appear uppermost in itself and in all things. And then we have in the scriptures, we talk about love. Jesus says, love one another as I have loved you. He said, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Sometimes we're not quite there yet, right? Sometimes we struggle a little bit with that, but we have to just pat ourselves in the back and love ourselves and realize that we are a work in progress. We are a work in progress. But in the first book of John, he says, the author John, supposedly John, but anyone who does not love does not know God, for God is love. And continuing in that same chapter, we know how much God loves us, and we have put our trust in his love. God is love, and all who live in love live in God, and God lives in them. And then we go back to Genesis, I think my very favorite quote from the Bible, because it tells us that when God created us, when he created humankind, that we were created in his image. Yes. And then God said, let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness. So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. So God is love, and so are we. When I think I've told you this story before, but it illustrates, some of you maybe have not heard it, but it illustrates this concept so beautifully. When I was a nurse, a student nurse back in the 70s, I had a rotation for pediatrics at Children's Memorial Hospital in the north side of Chicago. And there was a diagnosis for babies that came in. It was called failure to thrive. And it was babies that just didn't seem to develop properly. They were lethargic. They didn't gain weight. And it seems like most of these babies that had this diagnosis came out of orphanages. And it was believed at that time that they weren't given enough tender, loving touch, that they were cared for, they were kept clean, and they were fed, but they didn't have that human connection, that love connection. But we know in Unity that we're all created with enough love because we're created in the image and likeness of God. We are love, we're beings of love. So really what they later discovered, it was the lack of the ability to form an attachment with another human person. It was a failure for them to release the love that was already in them. Well, later in my nursing career, in around the year 2000, I became a hospice nurse. And I was very surprised to discover that failure to thrive was also a hospice diagnosis. And I had one patient whose name was Virginia, and she had the diagnosis of failure to thrive, along with several other diagnoses. She had dementia. She had a skin condition that caused her to be on a large bed, an air circulating bed. And because she was on this air circulating bed and Medicare was paying for it, they didn't really allow her to get out of the bed. So she was in this corner of this room. She did have a window to look out of, but she only had interaction with the staff who came into the room. So the first time I met her, I came to the room and Virginia gave me this big, beautiful smile. And every time I tried to interact with her and ask her questions, she turned it back to me. Well, how are you today? How is your family? She didn't know me. She didn't remember me from one visit to the next, but she wanted to project her love out to me through her smile, through her gestures, through her laughter. So we had a hospice team meeting and we devised a plan that we got Medicare approval to get her what they call a Jerry chair. So you would move her from the bed to the Jerry chair and we could take her out to the activity room. And in the activity room, she could interact with other residents. And often they had music programs and, sometimes a magician would come in or they would have deviations and entertainment for the residents. So subsequently in my visits, I would always find Virginia out in the activity room, interacting with people, singing with the performer if there was a singer there, laughing and waving to everybody. And Virginia began to gain weight, began to fly. It was a little miracle, a little bit of a hospice miracle. So this reminds me of another story, and it's about another woman who had dementia and was in a nursing facility, and her daughter and her granddaughter used to come to visit her, and they would take her out for ice cream. And one day they're out for ice cream, and the little granddaughter says, "Grandma, do you know who I am?" And Grandma says, "You're the ice cream girl. You're the ice cream girl." "Well, Grandma, my name is Emily. Do you remember me?" "No, I just know you're the ice cream girl." And so Emily says, "Well, Grandma, I really love you." And Grandma looks at her and says, "I remember you. I remember you." And we all remember love, because deep within us is that abiding presence of love. And sometimes we all forget, don't we? Sometimes we all forget, but we all have the ability to remember. So in January, we began what I called a journey of rediscovery. And it was Unity principles that are also common to many of the religious traditions, spiritual traditions of the world. And we've been studying them each week. And I've been using the Quest by Mary Alice and Richard Jaffola as sort of my outline for topics each week. And now we're halfway through. You believe it? We're halfway through our journey. And as truth students, we really like books, don't we? We really like to study books and read books, and we're seekers and we seek information. But our destination for this journey, for us, this journey of rediscovery, is more transformation than information. So our second half of this journey is going to go deeper into those spiritual truths, to the more mystical aspects of these spiritual truths. And to become a mystic, we have to have a direct experience with God, which is always available to us. Now, we know that Jesus was a mystic. Of course, many of the saints, all the saints of the Catholic Church or Christianity are mystics. Charles and Myrtle Fillmore are mystics in our world today. We had Thomas Merton, who lived during the 20th century, Richard Rohr, who's a Catholic mystic presently. Within Unity, there's a lot of ministers who call themselves mystics. One is Jim Rosemurky, who's a prolific writer and beautiful speaker and has a wonderful presence. But we're all called to be mystics. Now, early in my Unity teachings, I read Lessons in Truth by Emily Cady, kind of a primer, I guess, for Unity. And she writes, books and lectures are good, teachers are good, but until you learn by the hearing of the ear that the Christ, the Son of God, lives in you, that he is within you as your light and life and all. You may study with human teachers and from man-made books till doomsday. You may get all the theological lore of the ages. You may understand intellectually all the statements of truth and be able to recite healing formulas as glibly. But until there is definitely an inner revealing of the reality of the indwelling Christ, the Christ consciousness, through whom and with whom comes life and health and peace and power and all things, yea, to all things. So until then, you have not found the secret of the Most High, that mystical experience. So there's one mystic, and he's not one of the most well-known mystics, but somehow I found him. I don't remember how I found him, but his name is Anthony DeMille, and he's a Jesuit priest. He made his transition in the 20th century. He was an Indian of birth, an East Indian of birth, but he was raised in a Catholic family and attended a Jesuit school and became a Jesuit. If you read his autobiography, it says early in his career as a priest, he was very rigid in his beliefs, but as he grew spiritually, he became very open and very interfaith and very mystical. It was said that the Jesuit priest could come and listen to him for 5 or 6 hours just to hear him, talk about. And he would tell stories, and he had wonderful humor about him. And he has a wonderful book called The Way to Love. It's a book about this little. I used to carry it with me in my purse, but somehow I lost it, but I have it on my Nook, so I still have it available to me. But he talks about love. The whole book is about love. And he says that we need to learn to love like a flower or a tree or a lamb. And he gives us 4 ways to love, to really be love, to be that divine love in our world. And he says, love sees no duality. Love sees that we are one. We cannot label each other right or wrong, good or bad. And love does not take each other's inventory. We just need to open the eyes of our heart to really see. And of course, Jesus said, don't look for the speck in your neighbor's eye, but remove the log from your own. And I like to say that when we're pointing the finger at someone else, there's 3 fingers pointing back to us. And if we spot it, we got it. So we can't really know what's going on in someone else's consciousness about their perceptions or their whatever it is that we think that we know about. We can only know about, even though we're connected in oneness, we can only know about our own personal consciousness. And so number 2, love asks for nothing in return. We need to look carefully only at ourselves. Are we doing this to get? Are we giving to get? Like he wanted her to come over and cook a meal for him and send her the roses. Didn't quite work. And love is not self-conscious. And the flower, the rose only knows how to be a rose. The tree only knows how to be a tree. And we are love. We need to know that we're here to be love in our world. We are. So love is not self-conscious. The flower just gives off scent. It doesn't make judgments about it. And number 4, love is freedom. When coercion or control enter, love dies. A tree will not pull you into the shade to prevent you from getting sunstroke. And a lamp will not force its light on you to prevent you from stumbling. So we are all mystics, and we have a direct connection to the divine if we only ask. We only need to ask. Now I have a story. I like to tell stories from my own life. And I think because they're the only stories I really can tell with truth. So when I was in program, seminary program. We were, it was a small group of people, and there was one woman in the group, and I'll call her Jane, and I thought she was my friend. And as the days moved on in the program, it seemed like every time I see her, she would give me some kind of a sarcastic remark or like a jab, or even in front of other people, she'd belittle me in some kind of subtle way. And I really didn't know what was going on about it. I never spoke up about it to her for a long time. And then finally, it kind of got to me. And it got to me when we were having diversity training. We were having diversity training on the first day was on racism, how to, overcome racism. And the second day was gender diversity. And I think it really got to me on the gender diversity because the person who were giving the seminar, he was an author, and he was a university professor. And he was talking about how we get into gender roles and how women sometimes dishonor other women because they get so caught up in the success, being in the male dominated world, and that how gender equality can lift up the male and the female. And I was thinking about my friend, and I noticed how most of her close friends that she had in our program were men. She didn't have close women friends. So I wasn't trying to label her, then I looked at myself and realizing that I was, being a nurse and a mother, that I was overly feminine in my attributes or whatever. And so after the diversity training, I remember I came up to her and asked to talk to her, and I talked to her, and she said something to me about, well, Anne, I don't really want to be your friend. Well, that was like another jab, even though at that point, I don't know if I wanted to be her friend either. So on the way home, sometimes driving home from the program that I was in, I wouldn't put the radio on, and I try to really be present with the car. And as I'm driving home, I'm asking, Holy Spirit, help me to see this situation differently. Help me to see this situation differently. And as I was driving, the word sister came to me, sister. And so I got home, and my normal practice was to do some prayer time and do some journaling. And as I put my pen to the paper, I got this. I'll read it to you. Sisters, we speak of brotherly love and the divine oneness of humanity, but just what is a sister's role to express this divinity? Who is my sister? Remember when we skipped along and held each other's hand, or at the beach would giggle, building castles in the sand? As teens, we'd laugh together for hours on the phone. But if a boy entered the picture, our sister would be left alone. We learned to take for granted the friendships that had grown and denied the power and beauty that was our sisters and our own. As women, we entered a man's world in professions or in trades, where we may betray our sister in subtle charades. Remarks we think so clever can bite and sting and attack. We forget that when we are looking at our sister, it is us who's looking back. Who is my sister? She has skin of ivory peached chocolate brown. Her hair is curly, straight or frizzy, or sculpted as a crown. A body full, soft and round, or slender, with muscles toned and sound. Tall or straight, tall or short, gay or straight, 18 to 108. My sister is on every continent, in Iraq, Korea, Palestine. The bloodline that connects us is a bloodline that's divine. Rise up, sisters, and know the power that we own. When we can bond together, we are stronger than alone. By honoring our sisters, our love will truly free. But in the mirror, we will see the one who's free is me. And so after that time, we never became friends, but I could see her as my sister. And the jabbing remarks did not affect me. I think hurting people hurt people. So maybe she was hurting in some way. And the interesting thing, I shared this with the group because we had a second day of diversity. It must have been 3 days because it was the next day I brought in and showed it to the facilitator, and he said he was going to use it in his programs. I don't know if he ever did, but I was, I was touched by that. I was touched by that because I don't think it's my words. I think they came through me. Sometimes I don't really write too much poetry anymore, but it was a real path for healing for me in a lot of ways. So that was helpful. And I think that this person also was my teacher because she taught me that I needed to speak up more for myself, not to be the victim, not if somebody's has their foot on your toe to say, ouch. I wasn't really good at that sometimes. So let's see. Oh, I'm early. That's good, I guess. Yeah. I always worried that I'm going to go over because I thought I had a lot to say. I guess I didn't have as much to say. Well, I have a few more things to say. Okay. So we talked about the degree to which we can let our love flow unconditionally in all directions is our built-in God gauge of how we are allowing God's love to express through us and into our lives and into the lives of everybody we meet. And so love is a divine activity. It is in us, and we allow it to come through us when we realize that we are a wave in the ocean of God, or we are a sunbeam in the sun that is God. We are a radiant sunbeam. I like the word radiance this morning from the Daily Word. And that we are here to spread and grow love. And love is a cosmic force. It's the energy that binds us together in oneness as one universal family. And love is a spiritual gift and a power. And the power of love, which Charles Fillmore's belief system about the 12 powers of man, which are really our 12 divine powers, the 12 powers of God in us, is located in our heart center. And you think of the organ of the heart, that it pumps the blood to all the organs of our body. It's the connecting part of us, brings the oxygen and nutrition, all of our entire human body. So that's been a very important power. And so let's take a deep breath. I'm going to take a drink of water. Let's go into meditation. So let's just take a deep breath. And let's just allow our physical body to relax. If you haven't already done so, gently close your outer eyes and open your inner eye, your center of imagination, your third eye located in the center of your forehead. And let's just take a deep breath again. And let's move our awareness into our heart center, located at the center of our chest. And let's breathe into that center. Let's just take a deep breath and breathe into that center. In our mind's eye, we see on the horizon a light. However, there seems to be some fluffy clouds that are somewhat obscuring that light. So in our mind's eye, with each deep breath, let's move through those clouds. Clouds might represent our fears, our insecurities, our belief in separation, our belief that we are only this body, this ego, our unforgivenesses, our grievances. But on our next deep breath, we affirm together, I am love. And we visually see these clouds dissipate and clear away. We feel ourselves run into that light. And as we move in our mind's eye closer and closer, we feel ourselves enveloped by that light, surrounded by that light. And with our next deep breath, we realize that we are that light. Each of us a radiant being in the light and love, which is God, the divine presence, or spiritual energy, the universal spirit. And let us just rest in silence for a few moments. If we think about the sun continually lights our world, yet we really do not see the sun unless it touches something. Touches a blade of grass, makes the web of a spider into a little piece of lace. In the same way is when we allow our love, our abiding presence, our I am presence to touch others, to touch our world, that God becomes visible in our world. So as we come together in connection and love, aware that each of us are a radiant being in the sun, which is God, a beautiful wave in the ocean of God love. Let's envelop our prayer intentions in this ocean of love. Let's consider all of our world leaders, all of our national leaders, all of our local leaders, the leaders here at Unity on the Eastern Shore. We see them surrounded by God's light and love. We see their radiance. We see their light. We see beyond appearances to the truth. We see anywhere in our world where there is severe weather conditions or discord or disharmony, we see them surrounded by God's light and God's love. And we encircle all of our prayer intentions for our Unity in the Eastern Shore. And we encircle all of our prayer intentions for those out in Baldwin County who do not, as now, know that they are part of our Unity community. We see them surrounded by light and love, breathing in unison with us, feeling that oneness, that connection. And we see them being lifted up in consciousness. And we see the Spirit of the living God going before them, making all the perfect places straight. We see the I Am Presence emerging everywhere. And we say, thank you, Mother, Father, God, I Am Presence. And we'll be gently brought out of meditation with a song.
I am in you, you are in me. I am the truth and the love and the light that will set you free. My faith is a boat on the ocean, sailing a stormy sea. I am in you, you are in me. I am in you, you are in me. I am the truth and the love and the light that will set you free. My love is a star in the heavens, shining for all to see. I am in you, you are in me. Be still and know you are. Be still and know you are. I am in you, I am in you, you are in me. I am the truth and the love and the light that will set you free. My song is a breeze from the mountain, healing in harmony. I am in you, you are in me. I am in you, you are in me.
This is the time we give our love offerings. Please hold your gift in your hand, and we will say once together a prosperity affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. If you would like to share your gift with Unity on the Eastern Shore, our mailing address is there on the screen. P.O. Box 776, Fairhope, Alabama. For those of us here, there is a basket in the foyer to receive your gifts. We know that every good and perfect gift comes from God, and we give thanks for the many blessings and lovingly return a portion of our gifts to God's service. Growing love, our offering.
Growing love, we're forever growing love. It's a seed that we can sow, with our caring it will grow. We are family, we are friends, and the feeling never ends. Together we're forever growing love. We seek the sunshine, we bless the rain. Through the storms we know the sun will shine again. We have God light in our hearts. We're growing up, illumined from the start. Growing love, we're forever growing love. It's a seed that we can sow, with our caring it will grow. We are family, we are friends, and the feeling never ends. Together we're forever growing love. We imagine a world of peace, and we know someday our dreams will be released. All we ask is that people care. We sing this song for people everywhere. Growing love, we're forever growing love. It's a seed that we can sow, with our caring it will grow. We are family, we are friends, and the feeling never ends. Together we're forever growing love. Growing love, we're forever growing love. It's a seed that we can sow, with our caring it will grow. We are family, we are friends, and the feeling never ends. Together we're forever growing love. Together we're forever growing love. Together we're forever growing love.
Our prayer for protection is on the screen now. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. Power of God protects us. Presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. We are loved. And we will close our ceremony today with the peace song.